federal government of Nigeria, under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, ordered the giving out of food palliatives to different states, such as Oyo State, were given 1,800 bags of rice, Osun State 1,800 bags of rice, Ekiti State 1,800 bags of rice, Ondo State 600 bags of rice. But then Oyo State made it known that the rice given to them was actually infested and it's very, very bad for human consumption. Well, before we go deep into that, I am Crazy from GStube TV, and if you're just tuning in, stay with us. Don't change the dial. Do to click on the subscribe button, and of course do to click on the notification button to get notified whenever we drop new videos. I am Crazy once again from GStube TV on all social media platforms. Do to follow me at Crazy. Well, as you all know that on this platform we get to thrill you with updates, news and gist, so that we get you updated on breaking news, on trendings in entertainment, in politics, education, agriculture, just name it, anything. So do want to stay with us. Well, today won't be an exception, because today on news on GStop TV is going to be educative and informative, and also entertaining, of course. Well, back to the palliatives given by the federal government under the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari to these 4 states. Custom says 1,800 bags of rice released to Oyo State is actually good for human consumption. The Nigerian Customs Service, Oyo and Osun Command, on Saturday said the 1,800 bags of rice released as a palliative to the Oyo State government were good for consumption. This was in response to the claim by Oyo State government that the bags of rice released to it by the command were infected and not good for human consumption. An aide to Governor Seyi Makinde in agribusiness, Dr. Debo Akonde, had on Friday alleged that the rice given through the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and released by the customs were infested with weevils. However, ASCI Abdullah Lagos, the command's public relations officer, told the news agency of Nigeria, NAN, in Ibadan that 6,000 bags of rice were given to Ekiti, Osun, Oyo and Ondo states. He said that only Oyo State claimed that the 1,800 bags of rice released to it were infected and not good for consumption. Lagos State said the claim by the Oyo State government was not fair, and the command actually suspected foul play. Representatives of Oyo, Ekiti and Osun states were on the ground together with representatives of humanitarian affairs to inspect in her warehouse twice on Monday. Oyo State came to evacuate their rice on Tuesday and everybody was there. It was not as good as they claimed. All of us would have been able to see it right there. In the process of evacuating, some of the bags of rice fell down and got torn, and no weevil or any other insect came out of them. Oyo State even selected the ones that they wanted for themselves. Of all the states which collected the rice, only Oyo State is saying all the 1,800 bags of rice given to them are infected. What we give out are not infected and are fit for human consumption, and we cannot give out infected rice, he said. Lagos State said the command would not receive any infected rice from anybody who wanted to return it, because it would not join the bad ones with the good ones in its warehouse. Well, the federal government ordered palliatives to be given out to 4 states in Nigeria: Oyo State, Osun State, Ekiti State, and Ondo State. a sum of 6,000 bags of rice were given to the states for human consumption, just to cushion just to caution the effect of lockdown in this state, because people are not actually working. Nobody's going to work to get their wages and daily revenues, and the likes. So federal government deem it fit to give out 6,000 bags of rice, 1,200 bags of rice to your state, 1,200 bag of rice to Osun State, 1,800 bags of rice to Ekiti State, and 600 bags of rice to Ondo State. But then only Oyo State came out making complaint that the bags of rice given to them by the federal government as palliatives to caution the effects of COVID-19 pandemic lockdown in Oyo State is actually infected and is not fit for human consumption. Well, regardless of the fact that a custom said the rice was actually fit for human consumption, well, we wouldn't conclude, because they actually give their reason that they were actually there on Monday when this state came to, on Tuesday when they came to get their rice, that when they were packing, some rice actually fell down, which made this rice turn out and no weevils actually came out. Well, that was actually a bag of rice, not all the rice. Not all the rice. So, if you are judging that all the rice actually good because one bag of rice or a few bags of rice turned out and no weevils came out, well, I think they are mistaken. What if it is those bags of rice that wasn't turned out, that wasn't good? What about that? Well, for this, what we know so far was that 4 days after Oyo State received 1,800 bags of rice from the federal government, the Oyo State government had rejected the rice, saying they are not good for human consumption. The federal government ordered the Nigeria Customs Service to donate 1,800 bags of rice each to Oyo, Osun, and Ekiti states, and 800 bags of rice to Ondo State as part of effect to caution the effects of coronavirus on residents of the four states. The Comptroller of Customs, Oyo and Osun Command, Ellen Ngozi on Monday, handed over the bags of rice each to the government of Oyo, Osun, Ondo, and Ekiti. But Debo Akonde, Executive Advisor on Agribusiness to the Oyo State Government, to the Oyo State Governor rather, Seyi Makinde, said the governor had rejected its own share of rice. Mr. Akonde, who made this announcement at a press conference in Ibadan on Friday, said the decision to reject the rice was reached after inspections done by the state's Food Security Committee of the COVID-19 Task Force. He said the state government discovered that the rice were infested by weevils and other pests and took the decision in the interest of the health of residents of the state. Mr. Akonde, however, said the return of the 1,800 bags will not affect the state's distribution of aid, noting that the state had gathered enough rice for distribution to citizens. He added that the state was keen on receiving replacement of the bags of rice from the federal government. We received these items from the federal government via the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, and we brought them here to the warehouse, and in it is in the process of further inspection that we discovered that almost all the grains of rice have been infested by weevils and other pests, he said. On this basis, we formed a committee to inspect it again so that we are really sure of what we have received, and we think this rice is not consumable for human being. As such material cannot be distributed as part of palliatives in the state. We don't want to start providing solutions to a problem that can create another problem. We have done random selection. We see that similar thing applied across board, and the committee had agreed to return it to its source. And if there is any replacement of good quality, that will be sent to us, we will be glad to receive it. We are returning all the 1,800 bags of rice. We initially assumed that it was just some part of it that was infested, but some commissioners from 5 or 6 ministries came with me to inspect, and we all realized that it is not just some, but quite a lot of them were infested. We do quality control of all that we receive. It is just that was received from the federal government that we found infested. Well, against this, the custom actually reacted. The Nigerian Custom Service Oyo Osun Area Command said that the Oyo State government was not fair to the service. The public relations officer of the command, Abdullah Lagos, said the command suspected foul play because the rice given to all these states was actually good, and none of these states actually complained, but it was only Oyo State that complained, where I believe I even had a rumor that in Osun State, the rice given to them too was not good, that it was adulterated. The rice were not good. But then I think Osun State didn't voice out, so it was only Oyo State that voiced out. And if something is not good, we should actually return it. Maybe the rice took too long in the warehouse and they got invested by wolves and all. Well, at this question, we drop the curtain for today. I'm crazy from TV. Do it to follow me on social media platforms. Till next time we meet. Peace.